If you can look yourself in the mirror and say, I don't care what happens if I'm breathing, I gotta fulfill my purpose. I can feed my weakness, or I can fulfill my destiny. I got work to do. And so I don't have any time to think about who doesn't like me, who does not agree with me, who's not walking with me. Yes, I need to evaluate who's on my team. At the end of the day, I gotta keep going for me. I gotta keep believing. I have to keep trusting the process. I have to understand that I don't need you to believe in me. And so no matter how hard it gets, I made a decision that I will claw myself out of this thing. You try to bury me, I'm gonna dig myself out. You try to knock me to the ground, I'm gonna get back up again. You're gonna have to take my life in order for me to stop, because I'm gonna win or die, that's it. I don't give myself any other options. You gotta stop giving yourself options. When are you gonna divorce options? It's this way or no other way. And that way is to win. That way is to fulfill. And so at some point you're gonna come to the resolve that no matter how hard it gets, I'm going to keep going. I'm going to keep a healthy perspective. I will not be the weapon that is formed against me. I will not be pessimistic. I will not be petty. I will not wallow in misery. I will not sit around and wish I had somebody's life. I'm gonna get my behind up and build the lifestyle that I've been called to live. I'm gonna drive what I've been called to drive. I'm going to live where I've been called to live. I'm going to invest where I've been called to invest. Nobody's gonna persuade me out of the arena of greatness. I have been called to greatness. You have been called to greatness. You have a destiny to fulfill. You have a purpose you need to walk through. You can no longer allow petty things, petty places, petty people, and the nightmare of what happened to you and who wasn't there to stop you any longer. It is now that your perspective must change. And it's a healthy self-image that's gonna get you out of the bed. A lot of times, you're just not gonna feel like getting up out of the bed, but you gotta get up. You may hate your job, but you gotta get up. You may hate the way your life looks right now, but you gotta get up, and you have to see a path, a very clear path to the future. The story that you know and the story that is written oftentimes are not the same. It's written in heaven what your life is supposed to look like. The question is, do you believe it? And so I don't have time to compare myself. I don't have time to complain. I don't have time to live vicariously through somebody else's social media outlets. I'm going to build the life that I've been graced to build. I don't care how hard it gets. I don't care how many no's I come across. I don't care how many doors I have to knock on. I will not quit. And this is what's gonna help you get out of the bed. Stop looking at it the way you've been looking at it. There's always another angle. There's always another approach. There's always another concept, an idea, a strategy. There's always a revelation to get me to that next level. And so I can't control what happens to me, but I can control what I do about what happens to me. If you're gonna keep going, if you're going to win the war within, you gotta believe, you gotta believe, you gotta believe. And this is how you persevere through the critics and the naysayers and the people that wish you were dead. This is how you get through it all. You gotta believe, you gotta believe. I don't care what you say. I don't care what happens. If I'm alive, I have a responsibility to keep going. I don't care what has been said about me. I don't care what you think about me. I don't care how you think the story is supposed to end. I'm gonna repeat my affirmation. It's time for you to heal. It's time for you to heal from every addiction, from every anxiety, from all stress. It's time for you to heal. It's time for you to promote some internal optimism. It's time for you to improve your mental fortitude. It's time for you to shift your perspective. It's time for you to see that it's not just about accuracy, but it's about integrity. It's time for you to move in the realm of resilience. It's time for you to execute. It's time for you to know that you are worthy of love and that you are lovable and you are a growing person and you are a respectable person and you are in control. The joy that's been given to you, it's your job to guard it. It's your responsibility to protect your peace. Some of you have been haunted by the images of your past. Let me remind you, you are not what happened to you. It was a moment and it's over. Somebody drop in the comments, I'm over it, I'm over it, I'm over it. Share it with 1 million people. I'm over it. I'm healed. I'm set free. I'm walking in deliverance. I'm walking in power. I'm walking in authority. There is a path. I see the light at the end of the tunnel. I got work to do. And I don't care who comes against me. I don't care who doesn't see it. I don't care who don't understand it. I don't care if you're not feeling what I'm saying. If you don't see what I'm doing, I got work to do. And I will not stop until I'm dead. You gotta wake up out of bed. You gotta decide that today is gonna be a better day. And so it doesn't matter what happens to you. It doesn't matter who's with you and who's not with you. You make the decision that today is gonna be a better day. Because better does not come to you. Better comes from you. So decide to change your attitude about your circumstance. It doesn't matter. You can say no to me 1,000 times and I'll change my strategy. And so I gotta be nimble, I gotta be quick on my feet. I gotta learn how to make decisions very quickly. And this is how I win the war within. If I can walk in a dimension of self-mastery, then I can have the future. If I can lead myself, leaders first lead themselves. They are decision makers. Lead yourself before you can lead anybody else. Make the decision. No matter what, I will keep going. I will not compare myself to other people on social media. Your past does not predict your future. Forgive yourself. Forgive others. You hear people all the time, I'm not a morning person. Become whoever you have to become to get whatever it is you've been destined to have. If you can remove the labels, labels come with limitations. And if you're going to live a limitless lifestyle, you're going to have to snap out of the labels. Remove them from yourself. Remove them. Get the labels off you. Labels limit us. Labels lock us in. Labels place lids over our heads. Man, somebody drop in the comments, I'm over it, I'm over it, I'm over it. If you're going to go to the next level, you got to remove the labels. You got to remove that label that you are not enough, that you are not worthy, that you are not lovable, that you aren't smart enough, that you don't have the relational equity to build what it is you've been called to build, to create, to change, to reinvent, to resurrect. Whatever it is, move the label and you'll lift the lid and you'll live a limitless lifestyle. I don't care what happens to you today. Keep going. Because there is no other way. The only way is to keep going. Know the difference between resting and quitting. Some of you may be in a season where you feel immobilized, but you haven't lost. You just stop moving. You keep moving. After a while, you start winning. And winning is a habit. And once you master that habit, your whole life opens up. Let's go.